Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth community call. At Covalent, we've been doing a lot of things. Like in July, there has been a lot of things that we've worked on the community side, the product side, marketing side, hackathon side, and then yeah, we've got this amazing team to talk about all of that and share updates with you and answer any questions you may have. So we have updates lined up today. We also have Nate Hamilton, who's joining us from Moonbeam, and he'll be talking about the collaboration and everything that we are doing in terms of our partnership with Moonbeam. So excited to have you, Nate. Thank you for coming. Before we kick off, just like logistics, feel free to play with Zoom if you're using it for the first time. Of course, there's a way to kind of raise your hand. There's also a way to add things in the chat. I already see the chat buzzing. That's awesome. There's also a way to add questions. There's an option for Q&A, so we can take the questions at the end. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Ganesh, with go ahead with the updates.
Awesome, Prateek. I just can't believe where July went past. It went past so fast. And yeah, we're here, our next update. So I'm going to kick off with a product and an engineering update. We are a product-focused company. We've been building Covalent for the past 3.5 years. That will continue to be our focus going forward. And so quick update is the way Covalent works is we have the supply side and the demand side. So the supply side comes from blockchains that we index with the likes of Moonbeam and their excellent team, for example. And then the demand side comes from the unified API, which is how developers build very exciting experiences using the Covalent unified API. And so we push on both fronts. On the indexing side, we have indexed the Palm blockchain, which is an NFT-focused blockchain. We've indexed RSK, which is a Bitcoin sidechain, which runs the EVM. Of course, there's more updates on the Moonbeam side with Moonriver and so on. So we'll continue to do that. You can see the updates on our supported networks page. So that's not going to stop. On the API side, it's lots of bug fixings, a lot of maturity. As you know, with some of the blockchains like Binance Smart Chain, we've had some trouble keeping up. So just a lot of changes there with making the APIs super robust. So that's the high level product update. But I cannot stop the update here without giving an update to the staking programs. So staking is an important component of the token side. So I'm just going to give you a outline of what we're thinking with regards to the staking. The actual specifics will be rolled out in the next couple of weeks, along with with Eric and Harish and Prateek and Jackie and so on. So staking has two angles. There is the single-sided staking, which we affectionately called S3, and then there's the double-sided staking. So the double-sided staking will launch in the next couple of days. So the way that's going to work is through the Sushi Onsen program. We've been going back and forth with Sushi. There's just a lot of engineering, heavy lifting that we had to do to be ready for that, but we will be having an update. Perhaps Adrian can give us an update. So with this double-sided staking, what happens is that we have a pool, the USDC CQT pool on Sushi. And so what happens there is if you were to go and deposit CQT and USDC, not only will you have access to the LP fees, the liquidity provider fees, you're also going to have additional Sushi and CQT rewards as incentives. So that program is kicking off in the next couple of days. So it's been something that we've been working on for a while. But once that's out, there'll be a floodgate of information. It'll open. You'll have tutorials. We'll even have workshops. We'll have all kinds of things that we've planned. We're just trying to get the product out there. And once that pool is live, if you don't hear about it, that means we're not doing a good job. So you will definitely hear about it. I'm pretty confident we'll do a good job there. So that's the double-sided staking, where you have to invest in two assets, deposit two assets, CQT and USDC, and it comes with its own kinds of performance measures and so on. The single-sided staking, which is just staking CQT, and that is launching in the next couple of months. So this is network staking, where you only have to deposit CQT to the network, and you get an additional yield for providing the security to the network. So there's a whole barrage of incentive programs and campaigns that we've planned, starting with something that's fully focused on the Alchemists. We have 2,500 of these Alchemists, which is our core community, and we have a workshop, we have a boot camp, we have all kinds of things which you will get to know, very, very soon. And a lot of this is to train people about the unique aspects of the Covalent network, including the block specimen producers. And I think it's important for everyone to understand how the Covalent network works and what makes it unique and different as opposed to other kinds of data providers out there in this space. So that's the high level product and staking update. Our primary focus for the next couple of months is the single-sided staking, which is recruiting the validators to run portions of the infrastructure, teaching them what the block specimen is, working through all of the math there so that they're able to understand what the rewards are going to look like, and then rolling this out as a test net, as an incentivized test net. And I think this is just going to be a pretty exciting program, and we'll have more details on that going forward. But yeah, so that's the big update from the product side. And the token side, feel free to have time at the end for Q&A. But before that, I actually want to take a small detour, and it's something that's been on the back of my mind, and this is gratitudes. So I think, we've come a long way in 2021. We've grown from a small team of like 3 or 4 people to a core Genesis team of about 40 to a community of 2,500. These are people who've been handpicked and vetted by our Alchemist community to tens of thousands of token holders. So we've come a long way, and it's important to acknowledge that this is not just because of me or the founding team, right? There's a whole community that's behind it. But I want to do special shout out to a few names that I see coming up in all of our community calls and our Telegram channels and Discord. So these are some names who have been key to the growth of the community. So I'm just going to name them: Abbas, Maura, Mohastam, Zoran, Daniel, Karina, Gyanalakshmi, Jen, Abhishek, Stammer, and then 2 special alchemists who have joined Covalent full-time. This is Lei. Lei, maybe you can wave. So she was an Alchemist OG, and CK, who's joined on the partnership side. So these are guys who've heard about Covalent and then joined the Covalent program. And then now, after a few months, a few seasons, they've actually, I would say, joined the team full time. So very, very honored to have the transition step there. So pretty amazing. So yeah, it's important to share these gratitude notes because it's the community, and it's the community that pulls us forward. But now I'm going to switch gears and call upon Harish to share about what's going on the hackathons and the developer advocacy efforts we have.
Awesome. Thanks, Ganesh. So hey everyone, we as Ganesh mentioned, we made it through July, a very busy July. So this past month we wrapped up Hack Money by ETH Global, which didn't disappoint in terms of the quantity and quality of projects. So for those of you who may not know, Hack Money is considered the world's largest DeFi hackathon. And this year they had over 1,100 hackers from 75 countries submitting 231 projects. And we saw several fantastic submissions using the Covalent API, which is ideal for these hackathons because it's a very quick and probably the fastest way for teams to get granular historical on-chain data without code. So definitely check our blog post and our tweet post about this if you haven't done so to see the live demos. Builders took home over 4,000 in prize money for this hackathon. Yesterday, we actually just wrapped up the Sovereign Hackathon with the winners presented by my colleague Emmanuel, who did a fantastic job showcasing the projects. It was supposed to be just a 10-minute showcase, and we ended up spending over almost an hour going through the projects, plus doing a demo of the API, because the head of Sovereign's marketing and community was so impressed. For those of you who don't know, Sovereign's a decentralized Bitcoin trading and lending platform. So it's kind of an interesting project leveraging a different token than we're accustomed to in the DeFi space. We're distributing $9,000 for this particular hackathon, and a formal announcement with links to live demos is coming. So stay tuned for that. We're also in the midst of a couple of really interesting initiatives. As Ganesh mentioned, our primary focus is on single-sided staking. And so we're planning out an educational campaign around that. For those of you who took part this morning in the opening ceremonies, we've kicked off the Interplanetary Alchemist Olympiad, which I think Jackie might talk a little bit more about. And we're also looking at some interesting data quests and challenges to continue engaging our Alchemist devs. So for August, September, we're in the midst of planning the next series of 1 million wallets and data challenges. So do enjoy the brief summer break, and we look forward to having you guys participate in more of our upcoming events.
Amazing. Thanks, Harish. So let's move on to Jackie. Lots of questions. What's going on with Alchemist 2.0? I'm curious too. What's the update there? What's going on with the Olympiad? Love to get an update there.
Yeah. So, well, first off, wanted to give our community member a big thank you for putting this meme together. There have been quite a few questions asked by Alchemist on what Alchemist 2.0 means, and we did put out a blog, I believe it was last week, that talked about basically how we're going to shift away from a season by season model and work towards something or an infrastructure that's more sustainable to allow more people to get involved, because I have been receiving tons of messages of people wanting to become alchemists. And I mean, it's been amazing with the program, because I mean, it has been something that has grown so fast in like the 3.5 months where we actually grew to 2,500 community members. And the basis and the foundation of the program has always been growth and development, being able to create opportunities for people in regions who don't have access to tools, who don't have access to certain skill sets, or aren't able to like network with people or gain different opportunities. And it's what the program's been all about. So it's been amazing to actually see Alchemists being able to get opportunities from these and being poached by partners, getting jobs, whether it be like full-time, part-time, freelancing, contracting jobs. So it's really shown that if you do really put in the efforts to contribute or work on yourselves, like you can find such an amazing amount of opportunities within the program, which is why a lot of partners, other communities have been taking a lot of notice, including like other investors that we're familiar with too. And we want to continue to follow that basis. And because the program has grown so fast, we've been thinking about next steps, and Alchemists have been asking the same things too. And instead of shifting or having something that's more like task and rewards based, we want to actually shift to creating a program that's a DAO. So that's what we've been chatting about, really researching, talking with other industry leading DAO members who have a lot of experience in this. And for us, again, it's still keeping with that motto and mission and vision of growth and development and being able to provide those opportunities. And it has showcased with the program, besides being able to develop new skill sets and having access to all these tools and being able to implement lifestyle and your passions in this program, it's we've been able to change lives, and hence why our new motto with the program will be, like the 1 billion possibilities, having 1 billion lives changed, which we've continued to see. And that's what we want to continue to do. So we can expect more of more community members being able to contribute on initiatives that they want to implement. We can see more of like governments, like voting, grants, budgets taking place. We want to form guilds that have different themes and also involve lifestyle, because these are things that community members have been wanting to see or have been requesting. And we love putting community first, and I feel like we champion that very well. But we can expect guilds that might have to do with like the developer guilds, like an esports guild, which we saw come up a few days ago on that initiative, kind of in beta phase right now. Data and research, we can see like education, just a lot of tools that we want to continue to give out, and then have partners really involved with us, because they've been providing a lot of job descriptions. They want access to our talent, they want access to Alchemist and being able to provide more opportunities. So there's all these different variables going on, and yeah, just the fast amount of growth. So that's why we feel we need to move to a DAO model and create the guilds, so we can allow more people to come in who want to contribute, in order to, again, create a community, like a greater community that's more vibrant, have more quality, which we will be doing more of screening to ensure we have like really good leaders who follow our mission and our vision, and have been playing a really big part in our program too, as leaders, since we've already had those different categories set up, and just being able to provide better tools, processes, like infrastructures for everybody to have like a better experience coming on. So that's just one part of it. We're still working on it. I won't be able to answer like every single question, but there's a lot of our alchemists who are already very excited about this new initiative, and partners who want to get involved. So we're going to be working on that throughout the next few weeks while all the alchemists are on summer break, because it has been everybody going really hard, especially alchemists and leaders, for the past 4 months. And it is summer break. We want everybody to take vacation to focus on their health and wellness while we set up the infrastructure, so people are ready to come back basically sometime in September. And hence why the Olympiad, the Interplanetary Alchemist Olympiad, is going on. And it's supposed to be like just a celebration to showcase just the diversity of regional communities that Covalent has had, and all this hard work that alchemists have been doing. So we're running a different set of events where it's like hacksball, like soccer matches, it's trivia, puzzles, like anything with technical quests. And yeah, it's just a time for alchemists to have fun. We'll have workshops still where alchemists can come and still brush up on different skill sets, whether if it's like technical or in lifestyle. So tons of things going on for August, but more of like fun-filled events. And then September, I feel like is going to start with like a whole new shift and with a bang. And yeah, we're pretty excited about this new shift. So yeah, no, just some overall highlights.
Awesome. Jackie, what are some of the other teams we are taking lessons from? We've been taking extensive notes on how these other DAOs are structured. So what are some other groups that we're talking to?
Yeah, so I mean, Pratik's been such a great help in a sense of introducing us. It's been Friends with Benefits. So Cooper, Bankless DAO, just taking a lot of examples from how their communities have been able to do or like thrive and initiate a lot of things which we would love to implement. And it's crazy seeing how vibrant, or like just the amount of work these guys put in to have access to tools, or even the different opportunities that like Friends with Benefits or Bankless is doing. So they're big examples that we've been looking off of, and we're excited to work with Friends with Benefits to get the structures and everything set up. But I feel like Pratik could provide more insight on that, but very grateful, because it seems like the DAO community is very supportive, especially because we're all trying to work towards the same thing and providing like education tools, or even work towards mass adoption and removing those barriers for people that don't necessarily have to have like the technical backgrounds. It's supposed to be open to everybody in that sense. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So now we're going to shift gears and get our guest, Nate, on. But before I give him the floor, I'm going to share a few words on how our interaction has been over the past 7 or 8 months. It feels much longer, but you know, it's we just got in touch with him end of last year. So you know, we've been building for the last 3.5 years, and you know, we started just as the ICO boom was dying off. And I've had this personal bias against projects that promise the world and don't deliver. Because you saw a lot of that in 2017, all the big names, all the big raises, and they have nothing to show for it. And so I would say I still had those battle scars. So Eric put out a beautiful questionnaire, a beautiful process of figuring out what team that we want to work with when we eventually settle the Covalent network. And at that point, I think we spoke to a dozen different teams. There's an extensive blog post that is on the Covalent blog on that entire process. And we ended up picking Moonbeam. Now, Moonbeam, the network wasn't live. There's lots of unanswered questions, lots of risk. But what impressed us the most was the team. So we've had, they're always available. They're always, just buttoned up, like just very professional. And, our relationship goes beyond just that settlement integration, right? In terms of our biz dev, in terms of go-to-market strategy, in terms of, giving us input on how to do things. We've definitely benefited a lot from this relationship. So, very happy to have Nate on here from the Moonbeam team. And, he's just going to share a few words on, what's going on with Covalent. And take it away, Nate.
Thanks. No, I appreciate you having me. You're making me as red as my shirt right now. So I appreciate all the kind words, Ganesh. But like you said, we've been engaged since I think it was November. We first started chatting, which I feel like I was like 10 pounds lighter and 6 years younger then. But crypto seems to move very quickly and continues to evolve rapidly. But I think we were similarly just impressed with the team, the product, the vision, and so we went through Eric's very in-depth sheet, and it was I encourage everybody to go kind of take a look at the blogs that Eric and the team kind of put together around how they decided to come to Moonbeam and some of the value that they saw there. And so we're just excited to be engaged with the Covalent team. I mean, obviously from an indexing standpoint, that's huge for us. And so I'll give a little background just so folks kind of know what Moonbeam is that, we're an EVM compatible parachain on the Polkadot network. So where it is today, there's Kusama and there's Polkadot. Kusama is basically Polkadot's canary net. So it's a live value-bearing network where we're going to have a network called Moon River. And so teams are generally deploying there. And then once this all starts on Polkadot, we will have Moonbeam live probably a couple months from now. So we're getting to the point of launching the EVM now on Moon River. And so teams will be able to actually start deploying their smart contracts on Moon River and get access to Kusama. And we've been working with the Covalent team to make sure that they're ready to go on day one so that all the dApps that are deploying there that are looking to be able to, have indexing services can come work with you guys. And so, Eric and I probably chat daily almost. And so we continue to be very collaborative in terms of, encouraging teams to come talk to Covalent. I think that what you guys do is super impressive, and we continue to just be over the moon about the partnership between the two companies. And like you said, Ganesh, once Moonbeam's live and once the token can be active on there, and you can start actually facilitating some of the more long-term focus there, that's going to be even cooler to see. But yeah, were there any questions? Anything that I could kind of answer about Moonbeam, Covalent's relationship? Was there anything else you wanted me to kind of touch on?
No, I think that's pretty good. We will have questions at the end. But yeah, so, we rely on excellent partners like Moonbeam. And I had one question, which is like, were you planning that over the moon phrase? Like, that's when you said, so.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll, as we move forward, we'll continue to have some good memes and competitions like that. Certainly having Moon in our name, whether some see it as good, some see it as bad, but the way we came to the name, just a quick aside, was that being Polkadot native and everything along those lines, it was an old jazz standard called Polkadots and Moonbeams. And we were like, oh, this is too perfect. So we did not name it to be crypto hitting the moon or anything like that. And it just kind of evolved from there. And then Moon River is a song from Breakfast at Tiffany's in like the 60s. And so we kind of stuck with that theme. So it just worked for crypto as well, which is pretty funny.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. So the last bullet item, or the second last bullet item, is just an update on ETHCC. Is Pranay on the call? Maybe he can give us a quick update on what went on Paris, and some like quick takeaway. Maybe you have like 2 minutes on this. Is Pranay on the call?
Yep, here. Yeah, so happy to represent Covalent at ECC. I recently joined as a senior software engineer. I've been working on the network and I have the chance to pop in at ECC happening in Paris for the week. It was quite a long one. And yeah, the key takeaways are mostly about the fact that DeFi is just the start, and that you're going to have probably Web3 social networks, Internet of Jobs, public goods, metaverses, NFTs, all of those things mostly being underneath the DeFi category, but also aside it. The other takeaways are like the public goods protocol, community and governance, and how they interact with each other. And that's why we are focusing a lot on the community part so that they can help govern and also partake in the public goods that we're producing on the network. Another point would be the DeFi CeFi sort of merger. We see that a lot of companies are trying to bridge the DeFi CeFi world, and data is going to be the primary aspect that leads to this kind of like bridging. And so Covalent is going to be there ahead in helping this merger happen. And also about new audiences coming to crypto and engaging with communities. So we had a lot of workshops around how DAOs can be made more effective, and hence the Alchemist program is growing into this sort of section. And so a lot of learnings, also a lot of learnings on the network side for developers like myself. But yeah, I was happy to see that we are going beyond sort of DeFi spectrum and also putting our wings into other parts like gaming and NFTs, etc. Yeah, that's it from me, Ganesh.
Awesome. Thank you, Pranay. And you also got a chance to see Vitalik, which is awesome. I don't think anyone on the team has met Vitalik personally.
Yeah, so there was completely by chance. I was at the Go Ethereum workshop, which was incidentally talking about things that we're trying to build on the network. And lo and behold, Vitalik is just standing there on the balcony, just chatting to a couple of guys, and we start talking about EIP 1559, and he pops in. He's like, "What was that?" So it was a good time. I got the opportunity to take the selfie and talk about Covalent. Quite happy to hear that. And he was like, "Yeah, decentralize it, make it a public good, engage the community."
Awesome. All the things we're focusing on. Okay, so the last bullet item today is governance action item, the forum, the indexing thing. I think there was something about XDAI. So Prateek, take this away, please.
Yep. So we're getting like good inbound in terms of governance proposals. It's just that we did put out a governance template as to how you can add proposals. There are a few people who are requesting to kind of add different things. We will see them kind of materialize, but we do have for now we do have like a proposal for supporting, let's say, indexing for XDAI chain. XDAI XDAI is basically Ethereum-based proof of stake chain that is again EVM compatible, which means it is something that we can definitely kind of go ahead with in terms of indexing. Something that we are doing internally as well is we've reached out to the XDAI team. There are a couple of conversations that we've had with them, and we will see that coming into fruition in a few weeks, because I mean, there's definitely there's evaluation happening on both sides, so it takes time. But yeah, in terms of the governance, so that's a solid proposal. POAPs, basically the stuff that we've been giving away on all our community calls, Twitter Spaces sessions, even our alchemists essentially are getting POAPs. POAP is basically built on top of XDAI. So there's a lot of data on XDAI that we can extract and put it in, let's say, a meaningful format, and we are happy and excited to support the chain. There are a couple of our community members who are also going to be writing proposals for other chains. But yeah, I think Eric can probably share an update on different chains that we are already kind of indexing and where we are going with that, just to kind of putting things in perspective for everyone who wants to write a proposal in the future. Eric, do you want to like talk about that for a minute?
Yes. Sorry, Nate, we were going to blockchains. The cat's out of the bag. So yeah, we're talking to a couple of other blockchains right now. I know we've mentioned a couple times these things take a bit of time. That's when we're talking to XI. We're obviously talking to. We're also talking to. Oh my goodness. I think we're finally getting around to look at Edgeware. We're talking to Cello. We're talking to a lot of the different blockchains on the EVM side. So if we're running it here for virtual machines, it just makes our life much easier. Some things are already in the works. So like Elrond is in the works. I think we're moving Casper forward. And obviously we're taking a very serious look at Solana and some of the other substrate-based chains. We think this is going to be, we're just very excited, very bullish on substrate as a whole. Aside from that, we're also pushing, we're talking to other node providers to provide a better developer experience. So yeah, we're working with GetBlock. We're pushing better. We're building better connections with Anchor and a lot of these other partners to just expedite the time people can get product to market, ship code, build products, and enable multi-chain functionality. So we're really excited about some of these things that are coming down the pipeline.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Eric. And it's not just indexing blockchains that you can add as a proposal. It could be anything, like some feedback that you have, something that you want to do with the Alchemist program, the research Alpha Alarm. You want to suggest a few things that we want to kind of work on. You can add multiple like proposals on the governance, and then we are actively looking at these proposals like to and we will be also putting it out to vote pretty soon. So yeah, there are a few proposals that we will be looking at, and then yeah, I mean, like at least the ones that Eric mentioned will go through this process, and yeah, looking forward to kind of getting more of the proposals and looking at them.
Yeah, so once, I'll give you an example where it's going to unlock governance functions, right? So for example, we've done this for some other projects out there where they have an emission schedule for the sushi onsen program, for example. Now you can figure out if that onsen program is attractive to people providing liquidity, or we need to step up our game, or it's too dilutive. So that's an example of something where this product is out there, the program is live, the data is all live, the data is all available through Covalent's APIs, and then you can crunch the numbers and figure out if this is driving the numbers that we need to. So that's an example of where you know, it's pretty exciting to see the community step up and do the analysis there. Cool. I think we're basically done for the day. So open up the floor to questions.
Yeah, we do have a few questions in the question section. There is a question around supporting blockchains. When will you support the internet computer? I think they mean Dfinity here, the blockchain singularity, and how. Ganesh, you want to take that?
Absolutely. So this question comes up on every governance community call. So the process is exactly the same. And what has happened is you need to figure out if their app's live on the blockchain, if it's EVM compatible, and who's going to fund the component here. So an example here is with the Solana chain. We have a questionnaire that was open sourced a little while ago on the process, and you know, they have a lot of traction. Now, indexing a Rust-based system is quite challenging on our side. We don't have Rust engineers on our team. So now it's someone from the community we can recruit. So we put out a job posting, but we still haven't gotten the right kind of candidate who can take this forward. Because not only do you need to understand Rust, you also need to understand Solana. You also need to understand the indexing and querying you know, innovations that we've brought in. So it's a lot to ask for one person. And that has been the stumbling block on our side. So it's the same with Dfinity. if all of these things come together, then definitely yes. And if you look at our roadmap, we have Elrond and we have some of the substrate-based chains that are going live, but it's been a lot of heavy work there. So that's really what the blocker is. It's nothing else besides that. It's just finding the right people and the right talent to build the integration.
Awesome. I see a lot of questions already been answered by Adrian. Thank you for doing that. There's one question around open sourcing the code. Yeah, according to Ganesh, Covalent has been building stuff for the past 3 years, but why haven't we seen a single open source code yet? That's a good question.
Great question. It's an amazing question. So many of you guys don't actually know this. So I have been an Emacs contributor for almost 2 decades. So I was a member of the Free Software Foundation for a very long time, even before crypto, even before all the big data stuff. So I'm a huge fan of open source. And maybe what triggered this question is my tweet from the weekend, where there's a community member, Lefteris, who builds Rotkey, which is a taxation tool. And what happened there was he was not a fan of our approach, of Covalent's approach. He's like, why do you need this? And then someone from the Avalanche community went out and combined Covalent's APIs with Rotkey and built this beautiful taxation support for Avalanche-based assets without talking to Rotkey, without talking to us. And at that point, it was a no-brainer. He's become a fan of Covalent. So I think maybe that's what triggered this question. But the answer is nothing nefarious, nothing crazy. We built the company as a SaaS solution, which means it's completely tied to our internal infrastructure. And to open source, that is quite a bit of work, as opposed to something that starts open source from day one. This is why core components of our stack, for example, the block specimen producer, which is one of our biggest innovations, will be open source because that is the way you get broad adoption. So that feature is actually an extension to Get, and Get is open source. And we're not going to go out there and implement this for the dozens of chains that we support. We'll ship this for Ethereum, maybe Moonbeam, maybe some of the Polkadot chains, because that's the resources that we have in-house. But the only way to get mass adoption here on the network side is to open source it. So the question is, why is it not open source? It's not open source yet because it's intimately tied with our existing infrastructure. And going forward, we are taking an open source approach. We have like NFT dashboards, we have all kinds of things, and those are all open source. Our Covalent Docs was recently open source, so anyone can go out and contribute. So I think it's a timeline, and we are working towards it. And it really comes down to how to get this out. And if you want broad support for software in this space, it has to be open source, no question about it.
Awesome. I think we'll take one last question before that. Just for everyone, we will be giving out POAPs, the POAP NFTs, to everyone who's attending this call. I see about 111 people already. Everyone will get it via email because we tried doing those codes, and we are seeing a lot of POAP jacking happening. I mean, like, people are literally finishing off the codes, and it's impossible for us to kind of track. So yeah, emails will be sent out to everyone, and yeah, that's how it'll be done. One question, something that we also flagged internally was about Solana comment that you made, Ganesh. So Neon Labs has built an EVM scalability solution on Solana. So is it something that we can look at? A question from Thomas.
Absolutely, no question about it. So one of the beautiful things about Covalent is that any EVM-based chain is a turnkey solution on our side. We just toggle a couple of keys, figure out where the node provider is, maybe run the nodes ourselves, and we're ready to go, right? So the API just supports it natively out of the box. So it's like, maybe a couple of days worth of work on our side to index a chain. So EVM-based chains, that's definitely a plus. Now, what is happening is that you have a whole spectrum of EVM support. So you have things like Moonbeam, which is just exactly the EVM. They haven't changed anything. So it's actually very simple. There's something like Optimism that has introduced new opcodes. So it's a little more difficult to support it, but not super crazy. And then there's something like Aurora, which is the EVM chain on Near, and Neon Labs, which is a EVM reimplementation on Solana. Now, these guys have done a lot of custom work, which is a lot harder to support. It's not just stock white labeled EVM. So it's not Get that has been modified to run here. So it's just a spectrum. So will it be supported? Yes, it will be supported, but you have to balance it with our existing questionnaire and our existing, are there apps that are live? Is there some kind of grant? Is there someone ready to do the work? So in the case of Solana, the grant is ready. We are ready to support it, but nobody knows the Rust ecosystem and the Solana ecosystem and the Covalent indexing technologies. So there's a talent blocker there. So it has to just go through that that they're seeing.
Awesome. There's one more question. Sorry, Ganesh. It's around users' email addresses. So why are Covalent users able to see other users' email addresses and API keys when they sign up? Is it something we should worry about? Oh, I think it's
definitely a bug.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a bug. You should not be able to see other people's addresses. And on that note, what's interesting here is that we're actually moving away from API keys and emails. It's just not the way you want to do things going forward. Going forward, we will be supporting signatures by your ETH wallet, which is how it should be in the future.
Awesome. And there's a question around this record. Yeah, this video is, the call is getting recorded. It will be published on our YouTube channel mostly by tomorrow. Perfect. I think that's about it. Thank you everyone for attending. Nate, thanks for joining in. And yeah, this was amazing. And yeah, stay tuned for more updates from Covalent.
Happy summer. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Woo.